Boeing has long been a titan in the aviation industry. For decades, its reputation was built on engineering excellence, innovation, and trust. But in a shocking turn of events, Boeing would find itself at the center of one of the most catastrophic failures in modern corporate history. For years, the Boeing 737 series had been the backbone of commercial aviation. Since its launch in the late 1960s, the aircraft evolved through multiple iterations, continuously improving in reliability, efficiency, and performance. By the early 2000s, the 737 had become the best-selling commercial aircraft in history, transporting millions of passengers daily. Airlines loved its reliability, passengers trusted its safety, and Boeing made billions. However, by the early 2010s, Boeing faced fierce competition from its European rival, Airbus. The introduction of the Airbus A320neo was a game-changer. It boasted superior fuel efficiency and lower operating costs thanks to state-of-the-art engines and aerodynamic enhancements. Airlines, always looking for ways to cut costs and maximize profits, were quick to place orders. By 2013, Airbus had secured over 2,000 orders for the A320neo, putting immense pressure on Boeing to respond. Boeing, realizing it was losing market share, needed a response, and fast. But instead of designing an entirely new aircraft, Boeing made a fateful decision. They would modify the existing 737 rather than invest years in creating a new plane from scratch. It was a decision driven by urgency, cost-cutting, and an unrelenting desire to keep pace with Airbus. The result? The Boeing 737 MAX. Boeing announced the 737 MAX program in August 2011, promising airlines a more fuel-efficient aircraft with the latest technological advancements. The first deliveries were set for 2017, and orders flooded in. But in its race to keep up with Airbus, Boeing made a fatal mistake, one that would have devastating consequences. On the surface, the 737 MAX seemed like a solid upgrade. It featured new engines, better fuel efficiency, and improved aerodynamics. However, there was a major issue. The new, larger engines didn't fit under the 737's original wing design. To compensate, Boeing positioned the engines further forward and higher on the wing. This minor adjustment altered the plane's aerodynamics, making it prone to an abnormal nose-up tendency during flight. To counteract this, Boeing engineers developed a software system called MCAS, Maneuvering Characteristics Augmentation System. MCAS was designed to automatically push the nose of the plane down if it detected an excessive angle of attack. In theory, this should have kept the aircraft stable, but Boeing made two catastrophic mistakes. MCAS relied on a single sensor. If that sensor malfunctioned, MCAS could misfire, pushing the plane downward uncontrollably. Pilots were not properly informed. Boeing decided not to highlight MCAS in pilot training, believing this would ensure a seamless transition from older 737 models, while saving airlines the cost of additional training. Boeing's decision to keep MCAS under wraps wasn't just about convenience, it was about money. Airlines didn't want to spend millions retraining pilots, and Boeing, eager to beat Airbus, assured them that the MAX flew just like its predecessors. As Dennis Muilenburg, Boeing's CEO at the time, stated, "Our goal with the 737 MAX was to offer a seamless transition for our customers, ensuring they could benefit from improved efficiency without significant operational disruptions." This decision would have deadly consequences. The first test flight of the 737 MAX took place in January 2016, and the aircraft performed as expected under controlled conditions. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, granted the 737 MAX its certification in March 2017, allowing it to enter commercial service. The aircraft was initially well received by airlines, with thousands of orders placed within the first year of its launch. On October 29, 2018, Lion Air Flight 610 took off from Jakarta, Indonesia. Just minutes after takeoff, the plane's MCAS system misfired due to faulty sensor data. The pilots, unaware of how to override the system, struggled to regain control. The nose of the plane kept pushing downward until it ultimately crashed into the Java Sea, killing all 189 passengers and crew. Despite this devastating loss, Boeing insisted the 737 MAX was safe, blaming the crash on pilot error and maintenance issues. Meanwhile, Boeing's stock price soared to an all-time high of $446, reflecting investor confidence in the company's record $100 billion revenue. Then, just 5 months later, disaster struck again. On March 10, 2019, Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 suffered the same fate. The aircraft, only a few months old, experienced an MCAS activation shortly after takeoff. Once again, the pilots fought against the system, but the downward force was too strong. The plane crashed, killing all 157 people on board. 2 crashes, 346 lives lost. The aviation world was in shock. How could a brand new aircraft fail so catastrophically, twice? Within days of the Ethiopian Airlines disaster, aviation authorities worldwide grounded all 737 MAX aircraft. Airlines were forced to park their fleets, losing billions in revenue. American Airlines alone estimated losses of over $350 million due to the grounding by the end of 2019. Boeing's stock plummeted, losing over 20% of its value in the aftermath. Trust in the company was shattered. Investigations soon uncovered an alarming truth. Boeing had known about MTS's flaws, but chose to ignore them. Internal emails surfaced, revealing employees expressing serious concerns. One chilling message read, "This airplane is designed by clowns who in turn are supervised by monkeys." Boeing's leadership came under intense scrutiny. How could such a critical safety flaw have been overlooked? But the biggest blow was yet to come. The FAA, Federal Aviation Administration, which had long been accused of being too close to Boeing, admitted that it had delegated much of the 737 MAX's safety certification to Boeing itself. This revelation shattered confidence in the entire regulatory system. As lawsuits piled up and airline customers cancelled orders, Boeing faced a grim reality. The 737 MAX wasn't just a flawed aircraft, it had become a symbol of corporate negligence. The legal and financial implications were severe, with Boeing facing billions in potential liabilities. The crisis also led to a significant shift in market dynamics, as airlines reconsidered their orders, and competitors like Airbus gained an advantage. By the end of 2019, Boeing had taken the unprecedented step of halting 737 MAX production for the first time in over 20 years. This decision was a direct result of the global grounding and the lack of new orders. The financial impact was severe, with Boeing losing over $20 billion in direct costs from lawsuits, settlements, and compensation to airlines. This figure did not include the indirect costs, such as lost revenue from delayed deliveries and the cost of redesigning the MCAS system. As months passed, Boeing worked desperately to fix the MAX. Engineers redesigned MCAS, ensuring it would rely on multiple sensors and giving pilots more control. After 20 months of grounding, in November 2020, the FAA finally cleared the 737 MAX to fly again. But the damage had already been done. Airlines were hesitant. Passengers were skeptical. Many refused to board the MAX even after safety improvements. Boeing, once an industry leader, was now in survival mode. Boeing's dominance in the aviation industry was threatened as the crisis unfolded. Airbus, Boeing's biggest rival, surged ahead. While Boeing struggled with the 737 MAX, Airbus saw record orders for its A320neo, the very aircraft that had forced Boeing into the MAX crisis in the first place. By the end of 2020, Airbus had secured over 7,000 orders for the A320neo, significantly outpacing Boeing's MAX orders. This shift in market dynamics highlighted the competitive risks faced by Boeing and the potential for Airbus to gain a lasting advantage. The crisis highlighted a fundamental problem. In the race for profit and market share, Boeing had prioritized speed and cost-cutting over safety, and it nearly destroyed the company. Today, the 737 MAX is flying again. Airlines have slowly welcomed it back, and Boeing has resumed deliveries. But the scars remain. Boeing's reputation, once synonymous with excellence, is still in repair mode. The company has vowed to prioritize safety and engineering, but public trust remains fragile. The question now is, can Boeing ever fully recover? Or will the 737 MAX crisis forever be remembered as the moment when corporate greed overtook safety? One thing is clear, the aviation industry will never be the same. If you found this deep dive into Boeing's 737 MAX crisis insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. We break down the biggest stories in aviation and beyond. See you in the next video.